I'm going to be honest with you. This has been a tough couple of months. In some ways, a tough couple of years, but certainly a tough couple of months. Like most people who work in schools, I'm finding myself now, at the end of the semester, a bit exhausted. At some point, the missed hours of sleep, the monotony of paperwork, the constant running around, responding to emergencies, it all catches up to you. But it's more than just overwork and exhaustion. I could go on and on about all the things I've done this semester, how I've stretched myself way too thin, needed to take more days off, the usual litany. But that's not really the issue. I do need to become healthier in that area, but at the same time, that's sort of the norm. I'm used to being overworked. I'm used to being tired at the end of the year. It's not great, but it's kind of normal. What's made it a tough couple of months is something else. It's the type of fatigue that can't be remedied with a good weekend of sleep or a nice vacation of R&R. What I'm struggling with lately is the type of fatigue that gets lodged into your bones, that touches your soul. It just beats you down. The fatigue I'm talking about isn't just physical, it's spiritual, social, fraternal. It's the type of wound that leaves your hope weaker than it was before, that dashes your motivation, that makes you wonder if you're even making a difference at all. I'm talking about things like Twitter, a place that could be such a wonderful tool of engagement and communal growth, but actually enables conspiracy theories, uncharitable conversations, personal attacks, and greater division. You can type until your fingers grow raw, but some people's minds will never be changed. Some lies will never go away. Some anger will never be quenched. I'm talking about the difficulty of getting along with people I interact with every day. My coworkers, my family members, my parishioners, my brothers in fraternity. As much as we'd like to say as Christians that we love everyone and just want to get along, some people don't want that. Sometimes I don't want that. Every day I'm faced with the frustration of people who just don't get along, hurting each other, hurting themselves, all for inexplicable reasons. I'm talking about the major evils in our world. Racism, abortion, climate change, things that seem to have no easy solutions, that have no end in sight. I can do everything I can, work as hard as humanly possible, and nothing seems to change. My actions do nothing to fix the problem, and that is the crux of it right there. Overwork is an issue, sure, but I can work really, really hard if I think that I'm making a difference. I can lose weeks of sleep and still have a great attitude if I'm seeing results. But when it seems like my actions don't matter, when things don't change around me, when I'm trapped without agency, making even a single video a week seems like too much. That's where I've been of late. In a fog, trapped in frustration, feeling entirely powerless. It's a feeling that I've shared here before, sure, but never to this extent. I've never felt so absolutely burned out. And so I met with my spiritual director last week. I told him of all of this in much greater detail. I talked about all that was weighing me down, all that was absolutely crushing my motivation, hoping that he would have answers. Please magically fix my problems. He did not. But he did give me the perspective I needed. Like any good spiritual director, he immediately turned the issue back to me. "What are your options?" he asked. I said, well, I guess I could just try harder and give more of myself, stop wallowing and realizing that I have a great life, so just pull myself up by my bootstraps. I could keep the status quo, just continue doing what I'm doing and hope things get better. Or I guess I could just give up and stop trying, just throw in the towel. I said all of this kind of exacerbated, throwing out what I knew were three obviously bad options so that he could come in and say, yeah, probably not those, and give me what I was supposed to do, the right answer. I set up the extremes so that he could offer something in the middle, something much better. But he didn't. He kind of said the last thing I was expecting. After a little pause and a smirk on his face, he said, I kind of like that give up option. What? When he said it, I kind of smiled back and gave an awkward little laugh because I thought he was joking. It's clearly not a good approach. But he wasn't. And he wasn't being sarcastic or advocating for self-harm either. He really thought that the best option was to give up. And the more that I thought about it, the more I've come to realize that I think he's right. You see, when he said that he liked the idea of giving up, he wasn't saying that I should just quit or stop trying. What he was saying was that maybe it's time that I accept that there are problems in this world that I cannot fix. Maybe I'm spending too much time on things that are not mine to do. Maybe the reason I don't know how to stop working is because I think, subconsciously, that everything relies on me. As important as it is to work for better public discourse, to defend the truth, to expect that people act with virtue and care about one another, as much as the life and wellness of the world should matter to us, and we should work really hard for peace and justice, it is kind of foolish to expect that we will be the ones to accomplish it completely. Let me say that again. It is kind of foolish to expect that we will be the ones to accomplish it completely. We can and should advocate for just legislation, but it's not within our power to change actions that don't want to be changed. We can speak the truth and dispel myths, but it is not within our power to change minds that don't want to be changed. We can love our enemy until the day we die, but it is not within our power to change hearts that don't want to be changed. There are some things in this world that are ours to do, and we should take them seriously, but there are also things in this world that are not ours to do, that are beyond our control. When my spiritual director said that he liked the idea of giving up, what he meant was learning the difference between the two. What he meant was that there's actually something entirely holy about accepting our limits, of throwing our hands up in the air and accepting that there's nothing more that we can do. In fact, it might be the most important thing that any of us can do, admitting that we are powerless, reaching the point of complete desperation and desolation. Why? Because it is only in that moment, when the facade of my own self-sufficiency comes crashing down and I become fully aware of my futility and weakness, that I can ask for help and let God be God. It is only in that moment that I know more than anything else in the world that I need a Savior, and I am not Him. What an Advent reflection. What a beautiful, distressing thing to realize. As beaten down as I feel right now, in one sense feeling utterly hopeless about what I'm doing and where the world is going, there's something in this experience that's actually life-giving. A tiny light in the darkness, a feeling of hope unlike anything I've ever felt in my life. That hope is the realization that things aren't up to me. That glimmer of light is the reminder that there is one coming after me that is much greater than me, who is not overwhelmed by any of this. Too often in our lives, we shield ourselves from this feeling of desperation. Too often we tell ourselves that we are enough, that we can do anything, that we don't need help, that we just need to work harder and we can fix any problem. This is foolish. I say it's high time that we learned to give up. I say it's high time we leaned into this feeling of powerlessness, really let it sink in so that it penetrated to our bones, so it's the only thing that we can feel for a while. Let it strip away any feelings of independence, any passing thoughts of self-sufficiency, any subconscious expectations that my actions are sufficient for my happiness. It is only when we come to realize that we are not enough, that we reach that point where the only thing we can think we have left to do is give up, that we can let Him live within us in the way that He wants to. Give up thinking that every problem in this world is ours to solve. Give up thinking that we can change people who don't want to be changed. Give up thinking that we are the Savior that the world needs. No, we already have a Savior, thank you very much, and He's on His way. When He returns, He will not expect us to have fixed the whole world, converted every soul, and left things in perfect order. No, I believe that that is His job. When He returns, He won't be looking for a world already perfected. He'll be looking for people with faith and perseverance, people who have done what is theirs to do, people desperate for His arrival because they know their place and their limitations. And so, am I giving up YouTube? No. Am I giving up being a friar and a priest? No. Am I giving up the work of peace and justice, trying to bring reconciliation to all I meet? Absolutely not. Jesus calls His disciples to live the gospel, to announce the kingdom, to care for the poor and vulnerable, and so that is what I'm going to continue to do. Instead, what I need to give up is the need to be successful. What I need to give up is the need to see progress. My job is not to be in control or to see the project finished. It is to love as I have been loved. My job, as the great prayer says, and where I will end this video, is to be a prophet of a future not our own. For those struggling right now like I am, I pray for you. and hope that this prayer gives you the clarity that you need. May God give you his peace this Advent. It helps now and then to step back and take a long view. The kingdom is not only beyond our efforts, it is beyond our vision. We accomplish in our lifetime only a tiny fraction of the magnificent enterprise that is God's work. Nothing we do is complete, which is a way of saying that the kingdom always lies beyond us. No statement says all that could be said. No prayer fully expresses our faith. No confession brings perfection. No pastoral visit brings wholeness. No program accomplishes the church's mission. No set of goals and objectives includes everything. This is what we are about. We plant the seeds that one day will grow. We water seeds already planted, knowing that they hold future promise. We lay foundations that will need further development. We provide yeast that produces far beyond our capabilities. We cannot do everything, and there is a sense of liberation in realizing that. This enables us to do something and to do it very well. It may be incomplete, but it is a beginning, a step along the way, an opportunity for the Lord's grace to enter and do the rest. We may never see the end results, but that is the difference between the master builder and the worker. We are workers, not master builders, ministers, not messiahs. We are prophets of a future not our own.